All right, well, we got the zero turned in there today. As you can tell, it's running great. Actually, it did drive itself over here a few days ago. And if I crank that starter long enough, it will eventually start. So I think we better fix this because the grass is getting a little high. This one does have more than one problem, and we'll address that. And I'll tell you about that later. I think the hard to start problem generally is going to be this fuel pump area. And in this case, I think it's this impulse line. It's just not supposed to be split and torn completely open like that. That's pretty bad. At this point, I'm actually kind of impressed with the engine now. It drove over here itself. I'm gonna go ahead and take this back cover off so you guys can see what I'm doing better. And I need to change the oil later, and that just makes it easier to do. Plus, when I drop all my bolts, I'll be able to see where they go easier. Oh, but an Oklahoma mud dauber issue. My socket doesn't exactly fit on a nut anymore. In case you want to see, I'm gonna go adjust that. Brake clean fixes everything. Now, little WD-40 to keep things from sticking. I think we're fixed. Let's try that again. Much better. I say that, now I can't get the socket out. We may still have a little grit in there. All right, got the nut out. Now I know you can technically put these in from up top, push them down in here and make it go. But that's for people with smaller fingers and better dexterity than I have. So I always just take the valve cover off. Now, a lot of people think these are vacuum lines, but the way these fuel pumps like this work is they take the impulse off the engine. Every time the cylinder goes down, it causes a pulse in the engine, and that makes this little diaphragm go. You won't ever get vacuum off this line. All right. There is that piece of junk. A nice, pretty new one. That gravity. All right. And this is why I don't like putting it in with it on there, because I'm going to sit here, fiddle, gravity. Gravity's not my friend. Okay. Use the pants to clean it back up after dropping it on the ground. Okay, we are now going to almost yeah. Okay. Okay, we're involving a screwdriver. All right, as you can tell, I'm not good at this small detailed stuff like this. But if you gently take a screwdriver, you can kind of collapse it back and work your way in. And make sure that rubber is all the way expanded on the inside. Don't want it to come out. There we go. Nice and round, nice and round. All right, that impulse line will probably actually make our fuel go. Now, the first time this one runs, or I try to start it, I'm still going to have to crank on it because this fuel pump is going to have to pump for a while, because this little impulse pump doesn't do a whole lot of volume. So let's get this put back together. Well, I think I got the life out of this air filter, honestly. I mean, once again, it's impressive it was still running. Now, what happened here is the vibration of this engine made these two screws come out. And they weren't captured in the original air filter cover. And so they walked out. And I was letting gravity hold it on, which was doing okay. But we're in Oklahoma. So a 50-mile-an-hour wind coming along, and I never saw this cover again. So I have got a new filter, which looks a lot better than that filter. Should. And for the big improvement, I have a new one of these. And these are captured, so maybe they won't fall out and disappear. And the worst part about that, this cover disappeared over 2 years ago. I'm starting to think I have a theme about not getting around to fixing my own stuff. That looks a whole lot better, doesn't it? All right, well, that filter came with a fuel filter. Because I'm pretty sure the other one came straight from China too, so how much worse could it be? And it's been on here for several years. And apparently it wants to stay several more. And I'm not sure why I have two clamps down here, because we're not missing the clamp up here. So I don't have an explanation for that. Something worked. Does have fuel in it. Yeah, it smells like last year's fuel. Okay. All right, there's my little arrow. Fuel flows that way, so that goes towards the tank. And I can't help but notice I have two clamps over here too. I'm not sure how that happened. At least I know I have enough clamps. All right, see how difficult this is going to be. Oil filter seemed to come right out. I forgot how high the oil level is in there. Let's pretend like that I drained the oil first. All right. My favorite use for these old kitty litter jugs. Catch engine oil, or at least store engine oil. Okay, now this one does have kind of a unique way to get it out, drain your oil. So you can actually unhook it right here and bring it over. It's a lot less messy than a lot of things. Oh! Okay, that's stuck. It's almost like I haven't changed the engine oil in several years. It's another one of those, don't do as I do. Change your oil at least once a year, if not more. Okay, there we go. That was just a little stuck. Well, that took a minute to get out. It was a little bit sludgier than I meant for it to be, so I think I need to run some oil for a while, let it kind of mix up, and then drain it again, kind of flush it. But in the meantime, I remembered to change the oil filter. I actually have to have an oil filter, so I ran to town and got that. So all we gotta do now is we'll do this. Let's put the O-ring back on. I'm not sure how important this is, but we should probably keep it in there. There we go. There we go. All right, let's move around and see if we can make a mess on the other side. Now that it's drained. All right, well, that was only a small mess. Well, this should take right at 2 quarts of oil, but if I got it drained good. So we'll put my try not to spill it device right here. Then my other one that makes sure I get the right amount of oil in here. Let's put 1 quart at a time, see where we stand on the dipstick. Don't ever want to overfill these either. It's not good for your engine. I like to use these little pitchers because I can pour in 4 quarts of oil, or 4 cups of oil rather, and get my first quart, and then I know exactly how much I got. Okay, that is exactly 1 quart. Hey, I made a good mess. Pouring it with a pitcher, I made a mess. That takes special talent. And you know, this is conventional SAE 30. I mean, it's the CF2 flavor from Walmart. Unfortunately, our Walmart now no longer carries it, and I just bought this last week, and now they no longer carry it. So, I'll be finding the next cheap diesel oil. But these do like to use the regular conventional SAE 30. Okay. All right. All right. Wipe this off. That was a little foley. Oh good, it's not really on the dipstick yet. I'm not used to the oil being so clean I can barely see it. So, why don't I spray some more oil around here? I'm probably gonna need to wipe that down in a minute. Let's go ahead. All right, there's my next quart of oil. Let's see if I can do a little better job this time. Yeah, I managed to spill oil everywhere, but that's okay. At least majority of it went in the engine. I'm just rust proofing the rest of it. If it's like my other John Deere, the paint job's questionable, so if we rust proof it, it'll last longer. Let's see where we're at. We should be good to go now. Oh yeah, perfect. Right on the fill line. All right. Let me clean up here and then we're going to see if it'll start. Well, I'm fully expecting this to take a little bit of cranking since I changed the fuel filter and the whole fuel system's basically drained. Push it forward. Remember to check to see if there's any fuel in here. Yes, there's a little. Probably should fill that up later, but there's enough to get started. Let's crank. Let's charge the battery instead. This is the original factory battery from 5-6 years ago. I don't know why it wouldn't have charged. All right, back with you in a minute. Get that on there. We're on boost mode, and yes, I do have the safety jumper right there. Don't get mad at me. Okay, that's running a lot better. Okay, well that's running a lot smoother than it was. And this jump pack wasn't even phased by the lawnmower. I used this thing to jump off diesel engines. Well, let me button all this up and we'll come back and sharpen some blades on this. And I think it's ready to try mowing. I need to get down here to my blades. And yes, I'm aware I could just pick this up. But this is a whole lot lighter. You know, if you're going to jack something up, use overkill. Okay. And don't ever trust one of these jacks by itself. I would say a 6-ton jack stand should be plenty strong. There we go. Jack stand's a lot safer than the farm jack. All right, well, we're going to get down here. And my big impact won't fit, but we're going to see if this little one will do it. This rigid's pretty stout. So we'll get down up under here. Hey wonders, this does take an 18. See how good this rigid is at getting this off. I'd say that little rigid did a pretty good job. Where you can get this one. Okay. Well, that little subcompact impact does a pretty good job. All right, well, now let's go sharpen these things. These aren't as bad as I pictured. They do have some nicks in them and a little bit rounded, but not bad. Let's go ahead and cut it down here. I just need to get this back on here. Lay down here and knock it on. Couple of ugga-duggas to keep it in place, and we should be good to go. All right, one thing left to do is fire this thing up and go mow. It's a little too wet to mow, but I'm gonna mow anyway. Oh yeah, battery's not in too good a shape. Well, I believe we got it fixed. It's running smooth as silk. And the sharp blades are cutting these weeds good. I'll find my projects again soon. Well, I guess this is it for this video. I got about 3 or 4 hours of mowing ahead of me. So until next time, thanks for watching.